Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah, the son of Al-Aziz, the son of Al-Mu'izz Lidinillah Al-Fatimi. The mosque was built just behind the new Fatimid walls that was added by Badr al-Gamali. When the capital was built, the mosque was originally within the enclosure wall, but during the time of Badr al-Gamali, the mosque was built just behind the wall that was extended by the Armenian vizier. If we just have a look on the entrance or the facade of the mosque, we can see the North African features. For example, we can see the protruding entrance with a nice crenellations on the top, with a nice Kufic verses and the foundation slab, which mention the date and the time of building the mosque. During the 19th century, there was a lot of excavation for the Muslim monuments, and we all gathered inside this mosque by one of the rich merchants during that time. But later on, at the beginning of the 20th century, they decided to build a new Muslim museum, which is now located in downtown. And they get all the stuff which was originally gathered inside the mosque in the new Muslim museum. This mosque was built as a congregational mosque with an open court and a fountain in the middle, rows of columns resting over the arches, resting over the piers and the columns. Unfortunately, there was a wrong restoration for the mosque in 1981. There was a wrong restoration in 1981 by the Shia. Unfortunately, because of the wrong restoration, a lot of features and ornaments inside the mosque have been lost. Also, the mosque, which bears the name of Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah, was known as a part of the Fatimid Cairo. Just not far from the mosque, we can see the gate of Fotouh, or the gate of conquestors, and just a few meters to the south, we have another gate which is called the Gate of Victory. On the top, on both sides of the mosque, there is two nice minarets which date to the time of the Mamluks. This feature of the incense burner, mabkharas or minarets, was known originally during the time of the Ayyubids, but later on during the time of the Mamluks, the same feature was used in adding this minarets. And if we look for this minaret, we can see that it's formed of 3 levels. The upper level or the upper pavilion was built totally of mud brick. The 2 minarets of the mosque was built originally when the mosque was built during the 11th century, but later on during the time of the Mamluks, and one of the Mamluks of Nasr Muhammad ibn Qalawun decided to rebuild and the restoration of the 2 minarets. They were added on the 2 corners of the mosque at the north and the west. We can see that clearly that the western minaret is about taller than the northern one with about 5 centimeters, and that was a tradition in all the mosques in Egypt during that time. It's built on the incense burner top. It's known as the mabkhara shape. This shape was known since the time of the Ayyubids, and later on the Mamluks used the same style of art in adding and decorating the minarets. Over the 2 minarets and the towers as well, we can see nice Kufic script runs over the 4 sides, mentioning some Quranic verses and also the date and the time of the minaret when it was built and the restoration that was carried on during the time of the Mamluks. One of the African features in building this mosque is the protruding entrances. We have a main protruding entrance in the middle of the facade of the mosque, which locates to the northwest, and it protrudes about 9 meters from the wall. Also, another feature in this mosque, which is many entrances. We have 9 entrances in this mosque. The facade ornamented with stucco decoration that was placed originally inside the walls. Then it was attached to the walls through stucco. What remained of in the corners, we have the interlaced floral scrolls known as the arabesque. Also, over the entrance, we have the foundation slab of the mosque, which mentions the name and the date of building the mosque. Also, at the corners, we have the protruding towers, which carrying the minarets on both sides.
The eastern gate, Bab al-Nasr, or the Gate of Victory, is flanked by two square towers decorated with shields, ancient symbols of victory, but the general plan is the same as Bab al-Fotouh's. The inscription over the entrance gives the name of Badr al-Gamali and the date, and reads, "By the power of Allah, the powerful and the strong, Islam is protected. Fortresses and walls are raised up." On the arrival at the top, you will notice an inscription identifying this as the Turk Urban, and you can see similar inscriptions along the wall. These date from Napoleon's occupation from 1798 till 1801, when these fortifications were garrisoned by the French troops.
The second gate in the northern enclosure is named as Gate of al-Nasr, or the Gate of Victory. It's different from the other Gate of al-Fotouh, which is built to the north. This gate is formed of two square towers on both sides with a middle gateway.
The interior of the wall is an example of the military engineering, which meticulous masonry details in the vaulting and the firing embrasures. For example, watch your step for the pitfalls. It is well to carry a flashlight as well. The projecting towers enable the defenders to deliver the flanking fire against the attackers, trying to scale the wall between the towers. The defenders could move from tower to tower under complete cover, and guard rooms, living quarters, and supply points made each section of the wall a fortress in itself. Cairo was never besieged, however, and these defenses were never put to the use for which they were designed, to protect Cairo against the Seljuk Turks in Syria. In the second level of the Gate of al-Nasr, and simply here over this entrance which leads to the upper level, we can see the graffiti of the French soldiers during the mission of Napoleon Bonaparte in the year 1799 till 1801. And also we can see also here the arrow slits which used by the soldiers to shoot the enemies, which on the street side, and also the little openings which known as the mashkulis, which used to pour the boiled oil over the soldiers in case they tried to break the gate or enter the city. And passing through Bab al-Nasr, take Shara al-Nasr, subsequently Shara al-Gamaliya, which runs parallel to the Fatimide main street. The types and chronology of the monuments along the street are less grand and varied than those on Shari'a Mu'izz al-Din Allah, but nevertheless are interesting. Most of them are commercial establishments, government control of the spice trade beginning with Sultan Baris Bey, and development of Bulaq as the city's main port to the Mediterranean in the mid-15th century meant that the goods shipped up the Red Sea were offloaded at the Kulzum Suez and traveled overland to Bulaq, passing by the North Walls instead of going via Kos and the Nile to Fustat as they had in various centuries. Later wikalas, or reflecting to the economic renewal and development which took place in this area during the 17th and the 18th centuries, based on the textile, spice and coffee trade.